Yo, what's up, everybody? Dr. D. Listen, today we're going to talk about cholesterol, and to tell you the truth, I don't even know where to start. There's so much to talk about, and usually, if you guys notice on the other lectures, for the most part, I go off just what's in my mind. Today, actually, I'll be looking down. I wrote some notes down just because there's so much to talk about, and I really want to try to cram as much as I can in these next few minutes, right? So, but just some fun facts as we start. Did you know cholesterol is actually not a fat? That's right. Cholesterol is a sterol, which is an alcohol and a steroid, okay? And it's in a family called lipids. And then in that lipid family, you have other things in there, such as the fatty acids, and you have waxes, sterols, fat-soluble vitamins, mono, di, and triglycerides. So the triglycerides, you have the mono and the dis, and then you have the phospholipids. Those are all inside the lipid family. So, wait a minute. So then if cholesterol is not a fat, why do we say that when you take cholesterol, or when you eat cholesterol, you're going to increase your fats? You don't. That's absolutely wrong. What causes you to increase fats or your cholesterol are not fats, is sugars, carbs, etc., right? And then also you do have the effect of the polyunsaturated fats inside vegetable oils, which those are really bad for you. We're going to talk about those in a second, okay? Something to keep in mind, 1/3 of the United States is obese, the other third of the United States is overweight, and then we have 1/3 of the US that's supposedly healthy. And then 25% of all obese children in the United States have diabetes. Okay, I'll say that again. 25% of all obese, let's coin the term correctly, adolescents have diabetes. And 25% of the people between 65 and 75 years old in the United States have diabetes. It's pretty bad. So these metabolic issues that we're imparting on ourselves here in the US and worldwide, they're causing us to have disease, a lot of disease. And these things are manifested through heart attacks, manifested through strokes, manifested through disease that are promoted by atherosclerosis. What's atherosclerosis? Well, that's plaque inside your arteries. So it's important to understand the pathophysiology, or meaning that big word just means how these diseases occur inside our body, right? So, and I want to start by breaking down some myths, right? One of them is your heart does not like cholesterol. Yes, it does. Your heart likes cholesterol as an energy form. So it's actually your heart's favorite energy form, okay? Your heart doesn't like sugars and things like that, but your heart definitely likes cholesterol. Another one, fats increase cholesterol. As we said, no, it doesn't. Carbs and sugars increase cholesterol. Statins are good for lowering cholesterol. No, they're not. There's a lot of books in regards to this, like Lipitor, The Thief of Memory, and The Dark Side of Statins. These are all books that I'm talking about. And another book called Cholesterol is Not the Culprit, etc. Really great pieces of literature explaining what statins are and what they do for your health and for your body. If you want to go find more information about this, go read a little bit on spacedoc.com, spacedoc.com. Really good information in regards to everything we're going to talk about today. You'll find a lot of the information there. But no, statins are not the best for lowering cholesterol. And again, cholesterol is not the culprit. When somebody says, oh, I have high cholesterol, it's okay. If it's good cholesterol, it's totally okay. Cholesterol makes your steroid hormones. So what are steroid hormones? Is any hormone that comes from cholesterol. And then that's why you have hormones like testosterone, estrogen, pregnenolone, progesterone, DHEA, etc. Aldosterone, all these hormones, they're coming from cholesterol. Inclusively, your body makes its own cholesterol. That's right, cholesterol is so important that your body makes its own cholesterol. Your body cannot afford not to have cholesterol. So, and to tell you the truth, the cholesterol that you eat, not even 10% of it is absorbed. So you can eat all the eggs you want, but your cholesterol won't go up. Now, if you take that egg and you fry it on some polyunsaturated fat, right? Like some Crisco oil, and eat that egg, then you're asking for some trouble, right? But the whole point is, it's really important to understand the different types of cholesterols and how to impact them, right? So let's talk about different kinds of cholesterols. You know, in fact, we divide cholesterols. There's LDL, HDL, right? And we know HDL to be a good type of cholesterol, and we know LDL to be a bad type of cholesterol. Now, go to your doctor, cardiologist even if you want, and ask him for a lipoprotein fractionation study. I'll say it again, lipoprotein fractionation study, and see what he says. Okay, most docs should know what this is, but what is it? It's a breakdown of your different types of LDLs and HDL. Because the cholesterol that HDL is carrying and LDL is carrying is exactly the same. It's the molecule that's transporting that cholesterol that's different, right? And what kind of cholesterol do we want? We want that high density lipoprotein. We want that big cholesterol. We don't want the little cholesterol. The little cholesterol gets stuck in cracks in the arteries and so forth. I'm going to give you guys a little example, right? Imagine a little highway, right? And somebody tells you got to pave the highway, right? And then they give you these little balls of asphalt, and then you throw little balls of asphalt in the cracks. What is it going to do? It's going to make it even more bumpy. But now if I give you this big piece of doughy, nice, malleable piece of asphalt, and then you could throw it over the highway, what is it going to do? It's going to resurface the highway, and you're going to have a smooth highway. You see what I'm saying? Kind of that's the idea. So you don't want the small little particles. You want the big, nice, dense particles. But here's the thing. HDL, which is known as the good cholesterol, not all of them are good. There's 3 of them. 1 of them is bad. And LDL, which is known as the bad cholesterol, and that's why statins are prescribed, there's 11 of them in actuality, of which 9 are good or neutral, and 2 which are actually bad, right? Most namely like LDL little a. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this LDL little a. He's a tough one to deal with, and some people genetically will have higher levels of LDL little a, and they should be monitored more closely. Okay, so a really good suggestion that I give everybody, and if you're listening to this and you've never done this, I urge you, is to do a lipoprotein fractionation, right? So you break down your cholesterols and really understand what those cholesterols are made of. That LDL, what kind of LDL is it? Okay, because you can even see in a lot of blood exams when it says LDL, they'll usually have a little C next to it. It means it's calculated. It's not the exact breakdown of those LDLs. So which are good cholesterols? Your omega-3s are good cholesterols, your fatty acids are good cholesterols. The myelin around a lot of the nerves is made out of cholesterol. The membrane, 50% of the cellular membrane is made out of cholesterol. Think about that for a second. These fatty acids, okay? So those are very, very important. However, there's other fatty acids that we can incorporate in our lives, especially for cooking, like coconut oil, right? Very low in linoleic acids, which those are not good, and very high in medium chain triglycerides. Ghee is also very good, and beef tallow as well, very good to cook on. And lots of times these other oils, even like avocado oils and so forth, they come contaminated, and unfortunately they're not good to cook on, even olive oil and things like that. So if you're going to fry an egg, for example, use some coconut oil or some ghee. It's a healthier option than using sometimes avocado oils, which again, they come contaminated, and geez, do not go into vegetable oils. So let's talk about a little bit about vegetable oils and what are they. So one of the first ones, if I'm not mistaken, the first one to show up in the US market, and we have a little link here on the screen so you can see on their website, was Crisco. They first came around in 1911. And as they say on their website, they revolutionized what was in the American kitchen. But the question is, was that a healthy option? So we substituted good quality fats, animal fats, for these polyunsaturated vegetable fats. Now, don't get me wrong, coconut oil is a vegetable fat, but that's the only one that you can use, okay, that'll be healthier for you. But these polyunsaturated fats, and then other ones came into the market like canola oil and so on and so forth, these are not good for us, and they cause us to develop disease. Those indeed do raise cholesterol. Of course, you add some sugar and some carbs and those kind of fats. So for example, the classic American donut or the classic I don't know, peanut butter on that's on our American supermarket shelves that are made with these polyunsaturated fats from some of these companies is a really bad idea for your heart health, brain health, right? Anything related to metabolic disease, okay? Because what's really causing us to have a lot of issues in terms of heart and stroke health and just vascular health, let's call it that way, is what's going on our table, is what's going in the American family's food. And these are things we've known for quite some time, right? And watch this. There's many different accounts, and I spent quite some time doing research on this. And to tell you the truth, I'm going to say my research was a bit inconclusive. I'm going to take another stab at it, but I've seen arguments saying that the first documented heart attack in the United States was in 1915 by Harris, right? However, there are accounts, I've even seen accounts where they say Egyptian mummies were found to have atherosclerotic disease, which atherosclerotic disease, again, just a reminder, it's pretty much the clogging of your arteries. I don't know how that's really calculated, etc. But we did have heart disease before. I mean, if somebody's born with a genetic variation, for example, for actin, which is a protein that helps in scaffolding and the structuring of the aorta and heart, etc. Yeah, of course, you're gonna develop heart disease as you're aging, right? And you can, I don't know, have issues with your aortic artery or with the heart, etc. Right? But these metabolic issues leading to myocardial infarction, which is the correct name for heart disease, these are all very new. And if you take a chart, okay, a graph of all-cause mortality in the US over time in the last, say, 100 to 120 years, you'll see heart disease just ramp up, right? Where there's a distinguishing factor between genetic, right? I just told you, you can be born with certain genetic predispositions. However, the metabolic issues, these are all new, guys. These are all very new, and you're responsible for figuring it out, right? Because unfortunately, lots of times your health insurance is not checking on that. It's more disease insurance, right? It's taking care of the disease when it develops, right? Versus you being proactive and not getting that disease. So, another thing that I like to talk to people about is, hold on, if cholesterol is such a big booga booga term, right? We're so scared of cholesterol. Why are we scared? Because of heart health, right? And vascular health leading to strokes and so forth. So, how about you do a heart scan? Heart scan, I never heard of that, Dr. D. What's a heart scan? Well, it's called a calcium channel score or a CAC score, okay? And it's a really good way for you to actually see how much plaque is in your heart. And it's mixed with calcium. So you can actually see the little calcium. It's a low dose CT scan, right, that you do, and it sees how much plaque is in your heart. Mind you, you don't do it once in a lifetime. It doesn't get you insurance, let's say. You do it once when you're 40 and then, 70 years old. Oh, yeah, I did a heart scan back when I was 40. I'm good. No. I did one about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and my calcium channel score was 0. I had nothing, right? But it is a good way for you to actually extrapolate that heart health, right? If you want to go a little deeper, you can do a CTA angio, which then will actually look at the quality of the plaque. And these are actually pretty cheap tests, even with no insurance. Calcium channel scores usually don't run very expensive, run from 90 bucks to max 200 bucks. And I'm saying max 200 bucks, but I've never heard of a test at a local hospital here throughout the US for $200. And if I'm not mistaken, it's not covered by insurance. So you actually have to pay out of pocket. So it's not a commonly ordered test by physicians, but a calcium channel score is a very interesting score to look at heart health and very much so used in the wellness community. So it's something I suggest you guys doing a lipoprotein fractionation, and which is the breaking down of cholesterols, and a calcium channel score should give you guys and also your physician a good idea of your heart health. Just some food for thought. This is literally what I would want to do, and I actually do with my parents, my family, myself, just to understand, the health of my heart. Heart's very important, right? So now, let's understand what cholesterol means to your body. Do you understand? Cholesterol is made by your brain, your testes, your ovaries, the placenta, the adrenal glands, and then that cholesterol then moves on to make different things. Like I said, your steroid hormones and so forth. Now, we still think, right? We've always heard cholesterol is bad, cholesterol is bad. Cholesterol is not bad for you. I remember when I was in biochemistry second year of medical school and we start learning about how these steroid hormones come about, and then all of a sudden you see at the beginning of the flow chart cholesterol. And then you learn how cholesterol makes all these steroid hormones. And then the following year, when you're in pharmacology, right? And uh, we got to read this book. I read this book about 2 times, Lippincot's Pharmacology, and this will explain to you how. Um, I read this one. I didn't read. There's a bigger one. It's called Goodman and Gilman. I didn't read that one. That one's massive. Um, um, it'll explain how you want to lower cholesterol, and that confused the daylights out of me in med school. I'm like, hold on, wait. I just learned last year cholesterol makes all these good things for you, and I have biochemistry books here somewhere. I'm not going to pull them out now, but then you see here that wait, I have to lower cholesterol, most namely through statins or other drugs, right, that'll lower cholesterol. Now, triglycerides, that's a different story. Triglycerides, indeed, you want them lowered. And remember, triglycerides are part of the lipid family as well, okay? Such as the sterols, which is the steroid, and the alcohol, which is the cholesterol, and so is the fatty acids. Remember, these are all under lipids. And what is a lipid? It just means it's not soluble in water, just like your fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, ADEK, right? Those are all in the family of lipids, okay? So it's important to understand. We say a lipid is a fat and so forth. No. Different story. Lipid, and then you have all these little subfamilies, okay? So um, the whole point with understanding how cholesterol impacts your health is also to understand how your heart health is doing, right? And to understand that you taking care of what's going on your plate of food is also going to impact a lot what's going to happen to your heart in the next few years, what's going to happen to your vascular health. And heart disease is a leading cause of death in the United States. Another thing that really helps with cholesterol and your good cholesterol is cardio. Believe it or not, cardio is really good for your good cholesterol, your good HDLs, and your good LDLs. Remember, you have good LDLs. The big ones are good. Just don't think of it HDL, LDL. Just think of big uh, cholesterol particles. That's what you want. You want the big ones. So HDL, cardio is really good for that. Red yeast rice extract is really good for that too. Removing of sugars is good as well. So you want to remove carbs and sugars. You want to remove vegetable oils. So sugars and vegetable oil, great impact on your bad cholesterol, on that tiny cholesterol that's going to clog the cracks in the highway and really mess you up. You want to incorporate good fats like coconut oil, ghee, beef tallow for you to cook. Be careful with the contaminated fats like avocado oil and vegetable oil, etc. Even though, remember, how to buy these, if you're still going to buy them with the dark glass. You don't want it with the light glass ever, because you want to protect it from sunlight. Because as the light hits these oils, it changes their molecular structure. So you want it with dark glass, okay, and cold pressed, etc. But still, if you want to be extra cautious, stick to coconut oil and ghee, beef tallow. And then remove foods with high linoleic acid, such as chicken and pork. Yes, chicken and pork, a lot of linoleic acid, very contaminated nowadays. Remember, it's not that the food is bad for you per se, right? It's not like broccoli is bad for you, but it's how it's processed nowadays. It's the industry, right? Lots of times you won't understand, why is this food bad for me? No, it's not the food per se that's bad for you. It's how it's processed nowadays. Although pork, for example, it's a scavenger animal, and we'll do another lecture specifically on scavengers and their maleficence for your health. Even if you get the cleanest pork in the world, it's a scavenger. So he has enzymes and etc. inside of him that, I mean, he can easily get rid of a dead human, right? Pig can actually get, boar or whatever. They can process almost anything. Same thing as lobster, shrimp, etc. They clean. They're animals that clean. So there it's a little irrespective of actually the industry standards. But now you take a scavenger and then you add some bad industrial practices, and then you got a big problem, right? So here, those are some clues to get your cholesterol better and to get you guys also healthier from a long-term standpoint as it relates to your heart and vascular health. Okay. And another topic that's really important to understand with, this is all, the cholesterol is all under metabolic health, right? So insulin resistance. The insulin resistance goes right alongside with the cholesterol health. The person with insulin resistance, that one of the first signs that start to show up is when they get sleepy after food, like really sleepy. They're like, oh my God, I'm knocked out. So that's a sign of insulin resistance when your insulin's spiking really high. And what causes insulin resistance? Same thing, sugars and polyunsaturated fats, etc. So when there's insulin resistance, you can actually see, okay, you can actually calculate this by looking at the cardiometabolic panel. That's the cholesterol part, right? So you divide triglycerides by HDL. And if it's more than 2, right? So say triglycerides are 100 and HDL are 50. Now, if it's more than 2, that's a sign of insulin resistance. You don't want that, okay? And that's a problem. You want that ratio to be a little bit better, okay? To be a closed gap. You actually want them to be 1-to-1. So say if you can get your triglycerides to 80 and your HDL to 80, again, good quality HDLs, that's a good sign. And even if you don't map out, even if you don't do a full lipoprotein fractionation, but you see that your triglycerides are very low and your HDL are pretty high, for the most part, one can extrapolate that it's good cholesterol. The HDL is composed of good cholesterol, but always consider doing a lipoprotein fractionation. Okay, so cholesterol is also involved with metabolic health. That's why in the beginning I started talking about diabetes, etc., because it's all part of your metabolism. And when that's not balanced, that's when you start, now you start having some issues with diabetes, some vascular issues provoked by the cholesterol, etc. But remember, guys, cholesterol is not bad for you. Your body produces it. You think that something that your body's producing for survival, that wraps cells around it, that literally the wall of our cells, 50% of that thing is made out of fatty acids. Do you actually think that that's bad for you? Cholesterol is bad for you? No. And fats aren't bad for you. Good quality fats. You want good quality fats in your diet, okay? And eggs don't increase your cholesterol. Yes, eggs nowadays are also contaminated from certain industrial practices, but good quality eggs, 100% organic, I'm talking about farmed eggs, those are good for you. Obviously, don't get eggs from a chicken that's putting 26 eggs a day. That's not healthy for you. But back in the day, your great grandma's chicken in her backyard that was putting those eggs, that's not bad for you, and that does not cause issues with your cholesterol. On the contrary, eggs are one of the best best meals you can actually have, best foods you can actually have. After breast milk, egg is one of the most complete foods on earth. Okay, so I hope today you guys got a little bit of more information on how to be a little healthier, how to produce more abundance in your life. And cholesterol is a big longevity topic, right? Because cholesterol is not going to bite you know where right now, unless it's really high. Cholesterol is something that's going to mess you up down the line, and it's easily reversible with some diet modification and good supervision from a qualified healthcare practitioner that I suggest you get in touch with. So if you've never done a lipoprotein fractionation, I suggest you guys go ahead and ask for one, and then look up what a calcium channel score is or a heart scan. It'll be a really good option to understand what your heart health is, and perhaps to give you some more data and to give you some oversight on the controls of life, so you actually start taking control of your health and not be victim of some silly disease that bites you in the butt just because you weren't proactive a few years before. But you're doing the main thing. You're getting information right now, and please don't stop this process of collecting information, because this is a huge impact for your overall life. Your life and your health are the most important things you have. You want a long lifespan and a great health span, and taking control today of your cholesterol and understanding it is one of the steps for that, to have that beautiful life of abundance you want. All right, so thanks for tuning in today, guys. Love you all. Dr. D. See you soon.